Well, one of the reasons I chose Mount St. Mary's is because I got to play 2 sports at Division I level. But I knew as soon as I visited campus that this was the place for me. Just the tight-knit feel that Mount St. Mary's had, you know. I knew it. I had visited a couple other schools after I went on my visit at the Mount, but as soon as I left, I knew that this is where I was going to go. Well, you know, I was at Mount St. Mary's kind of at a, I don't know, I would say almost like a pivotal time. I mean, the school changed from a college to a university while we were there. And that was kind of awesome. We had our groundbreaking ceremony for the stadium, you know, but obviously our championships, I mean, even just the whole process of our team going from, you know, we were just, you know, terrible. And then we, you know, in our 4 or 5 years I was there, we just completely turned the program around, and it was just awesome to be a part of that experience. But even my sophomore year, like, we beat Sacred Heart at home to make it to the tournament, and then we ended up going to the championship that year, and like nobody would have thought that we would even, you know, even been in the running for making the tournament, let alone the championship. But there's so many things about Mount St. Mary's and my time there that I'll just never forget. I mean, being a part of 2 teams, you know, those are special bonds that you make with people, and the, you know, that you're never going to forget. And it's unlike a lot of other places, I think, just because of the size of the school, but it was pretty awesome. We had a lot of good times at the Mount. Yeah, that was pretty brutal, sitting out, you know, after, you know, having played. And that was actually the year that I was out, we added goggles and hard boundaries. So I went from, you know, playing like that, then being a year out with that, and then coming back and being like, what? There's boundaries and you have goggles? But I would say that year, I probably learned more that year than I have in my whole time being involved in athletics, because I'd never really been injured to a point where, you know, I was out for as long as I was. And I kind of actually like stepped into a coaching role then because Courtney was pregnant. So, and we had a new assistant coach at the very end of the fall. So, but it was so, I learned a lot. And it's also good for me too, because I can also connect with players that are battling injuries, you know. So it kind of, you know, I can show to them, like, you standing on the sideline and watching every practice, like, you just wait. I know it's frustrating now, but you're going to be so much of a better player when you come back, because when you're standing on the sideline and watching it and hearing the coach say the same thing over and over and over again is so frustrating, standing and watching it. But, you know, when you're in it and you're a part of it, you don't see it. So as tough as it was, I'm very thankful for that experience. Oh, that game was awesome. Probably hands down one of my favorite experiences. Well, we won in 5 overtimes, so we were all dying. And just playing on that grass field, you know, I mean, it's crazy now to look back and see that there's a turf and there's, you know, a stadium and all these things. But it was just incredible. And I think because of the atmosphere, like, not only the excitement of winning a championship and winning it in that dramatic fashion and all this stuff, but the place was packed, you know. I know they say like a 6-man, or for us it would be a 12-man, but that's something else about the Mount. Like, you know, you could look over on the sideline and every other sports team was there, you know. And I think that helped us, you know, at the end of the day, win the championship. But it's just, I can't describe how great of a feeling that was. And as a coach now, you know, that's my goal. I want my players to get to experience that, because it's something that you'll never forget. And it was awesome. You know, I think your college experience shapes you, you know, no matter what, either in a good way or a negative way. And that's why I think even in the recruiting process as a coach, it's so important as a student athlete, as a, you know, a high school kid, that you see yourself at the school that you're going to be attending. So that not only that, but that you just love it and you graduate and you just are so prideful of where you played and the school that you went to. And, you know, I think for me, I was lucky enough to have great coaches while I was at the Mount. And honestly, like, I don't think that I would be in coaching if it wasn't for my experience at Mount St. Mary's. Who knows what I would be doing. But I just had great mentors in both my coaches when I was at the Mount. And, you know, and just the whole, even all the opportunities we had. I had internships in the sports information department. I did the laundry in the equipment room, and that's just something like the Mount, just being so small, you're just involved in everything. And I'd learned so much in so many different aspects there, and I don't know if I would have if I went somewhere else. It's helped a lot, especially coming in new, taking over a program when the old coach left, and I can relate to them in that way. Like, we had a change, and looking back now as a coach, I kind of feel a little bit bad because I don't think us as players, we didn't adapt to the change very well, and I'm pretty sure we made it a little bit hard for Coach Westcott to come in and make her changes. And now I'm so appreciative now on the coaching end that when I came in, they bought into what I was doing. But it helped me to, like I said, to relate to them and to make the transition as easy as possible, because I get it. I just like it, being injured and having injury, being able to go through those things, you can connect with the girls. So it helped. A lot of things. I think because of my experience as a player at the Mount, especially with the lacrosse team, we came in, we didn't really, our coach got hired late. We hadn't really had much success prior to Courtney coming in, and she, she turned that program around, and and is my goal here. And I wouldn't have the coaching style, I wouldn't have probably the belief that I have if it wasn't for my experience at the Mount. And I think as a player, our coach, when she came in, she believed in us and she had confidence, and that's basically, that's the end of the day, that's pretty much the same angle that we're taking here, that it's possible. But had I had a different experience at Mount St. Mary's, I don't know if I would, I wouldn't be able to translate that here at Central, I don't think. Well, I think as far as Title IX goes, for my generation and anybody younger than me, I think it's important for us to educate our kids and to give back and to stay involved. Obviously I don't know what it's like, because ever since I was little, there were teams for me to play on. There's been every opportunity for me, and for the girls now. And I think it's our job to constantly remind them of why they have the opportunities they have. When they start to think that, oh, well, I don't have 3 pairs of shoes. Thinking back to these women who fought through and played and drove themselves to practice and did this, that, and the other thing. And if it wasn't for what they did, we wouldn't necessarily maybe have the opportunities that we did. And I also think it's our job as females, to stay involved in athletics, because it would be a shame for it just to, all that work to be almost wasted because nobody's staying around. And giving back and teaching and coaching, and going and doing those clinics that you don't really feel like doing, but, just to involve yourself with younger girls so that they can see females in like positive role models, like, oh, look, I want to do what she does, or I want to play lacrosse in college. It's important for not only us but for our kids to. I think it's our job to give back to the pioneers of the Title IX era. And not to sound corny, but I would say it's simple. Believe in yourself, believe in your vision, and surround yourself with people who support you. I think as female athletes, that's one of our biggest almost flaws, is that we don't have enough confidence in ourselves. And you have to be willing to take a risk and support, and stand up for yourself. I think girls are easily like, oh, okay, no, I'm not going to say anything, or I don't think this is a good idea. Stick with it and keep people in your life that are going to support you.